Guys, welcome back to another video. And with no further ado, let's get into my picks for week number 3. Starting off with tonight's game, Bills hosting the Dolphins. And Josh Allen, I think he's only lost to Miami twice since he's been drafted, I think. He's dominated them. And I think Buffalo wins this one pretty easily. If this game goes the way most people believe it would, then Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer might be packing up at halftime, maybe, to be fired. Miami had a chance last week to win this game, but it's just like the defense, horrible. They cannot stop anything. And they're going up against the Bills offense that has looked amazing through 2 weeks. And it's just like that Buffalo defense is going to be able to shut down Tua in this offense like we've seen it do in past games. And it's just like Buffalo's gonna win. It is a division game, but Buffalo's dominated this series, and I don't really see any way it goes differently. And come Friday morning, Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer might finally be fired, and this team can finally, hopefully, start over. Moving on to the Sunday game, starting off Colts at the Titans. I feel like this could be a trap game. I feel like there's always those division games or early season games where it's like one team is like winless, but it's like they've played really good football, just haven't they haven't just had the chances to be able to win the games. And an undefeated team that you think probably should have lost last week in the Colts is like I could see Tennessee pulling off the win. I could see Cam Ward, who's looked phenomenal through 2 weeks. I could see Tennessee maybe pulling off the win, upsetting the Colts at home. But I'm trusting the better coach and Shane Steichen. I don't believe in Brian Callahan. And I'm trusting the Colts, who have a much better roster, to start off 3-0. And with the way Houston's been playing, maybe this is Indy's year to win the South and potentially we'll see how the season goes along, but maybe a Super Bowl contender. Moving on to a battle of the backups, Jake Browning and Carson Wentz. Um, Jake Browning, remember the last time he played the Vikings after he was cut by Minnesota. He played amazing, but that was back in 2023. Minnesota's defense on Brian Flores has gotten better each year, and I just believe Kevin O'Connell. We've seen him been able to make great, like not make backups look great, like Josh Dobbs, like Nick Mullins. Um, and I'm trusting Minnesota. I think this defense will be able to wreak havoc on Cincinnati's offense. They kind of should have lost that game to Jacksonville, but Jacksonville, for some reason, just kept on, you know, hitting themselves and making it easy for Cincinnati to stay in the game. I think Carson Wentz is going to play mistake-free football. A veteran QB that Kevin O'Connell brought in, knowing he's going to be able to just do the smart things, get this offense playing well, and I trust this Minnesota defense and coaching staff more than I do in Cincinnati. Moving on to an interesting game, Steelers at Patriots. Pittsburgh's defense has looked horrible through 2 weeks. They're up there with Miami as like one of the worst defenses, despite being the highest paid defense in all of the league. And they're taking on a Patriots team that looked really good on offense last week. Drake May was playing well. And, if this defense plays the way it did against the Dolphins and Raiders teams that I think have similar offensives as the Steelers, I think New England gets the win at home. It's just Pittsburgh's offense. Yes, it's a really good Seattle defense, but it's like Pittsburgh's offense went stale in the second half. And it's like, I think the offense is going to be more like that, where it's like there's going to be some good drives, but mostly bad drives. And I think New England at home can take care of business and get a huge win to move to 2-1. Yeah. Moving on to a very interesting Rams Eagles game. Because we all remember last year's divisional round, LA was one play away from a potential touchdown to win the game and upset the Eagles. And this year Philly, their offense has not looked the greatest. Their defense did look better, and I think it's still a top unit. But there's just so many question marks on Philly's team. Jalen Hurts isn't playing the greatest, and they're kind of relying on the other team making mistakes. Like in week one, if Miles Sanders doesn't fumble that ball, Dallas probably goes down and scores, points and possibly takes the lead, and then last week or this past Sunday, Travis Kelce drops the ball and it lands in Andrew Makuba's hands. That leads to a Saquon touchdown that made him go up by 10. Like, it seems like Philly's kind of been reliant on getting these turnovers, having these teams mess up. Meanwhile, LA, they've looked phenomenal. I'm going to pick them to get the win. I think they've looked so good. They got better from last year, and I think with how bad Philly has looked so far on offense and the way their defense has played well, but has kind of been reliant on, turnovers to get these wins. I feel like LA, veteran-led team, they're gonna get the win. Moving on to Jets at the Bucks. Justin Fields is out with a concussion. Tyrod Taylor stepping in, and I'm trusting Tampa Bay. This defense, yes, without Kalasa Kancey now because he has a torn pec and will be out for the year. It's still going to be very good. This offense hasn't looked the greatest, but I think, they should be able to take care of business. I think this will be a closer game because, Tampa's offensive line issues and how well the Jets' defensive line is. I think they'll get after Baker. I just think I trust the better offense to get the job done, which is why I'm picking Tampa Bay. Moving on to the Raiders at Washington. I feel like this is an interesting game because it's like Jaden Daniels apparently might not practice until tomorrow, if at all, meaning most likely Marcus Mariota will take on the Raiders, one of his former teams. Meanwhile, Vegas' offense, hasn't looked the greatest through 2 weeks. Ashton Genty, for some reason, isn't getting the ball more. I feel like this is going to be a close game because of no Jaden Daniels. I trust Washington. I'm going to trust the Commanders to get the win. I think, at home, I think this team, because we saw like what the Lions did, and yeah, Jaden Daniels is going to be up, but we saw Detroit dominate Chicago, meaning it's like, I think that Green Bay is just that great of a team where it's like they're going to make, other contenders not look the greatest. So I just think Washington coming back home against the Raiders, that defense is going to make enough plays to stuff Vegas. And I think Marcus Mariota can do the little things correct. And I think Washington can get a win and move on to 2-1. Moving on to the Falcons at the Panthers. An interesting matchup. Bryce Young looked phenomenal at the end of the game. I know people want to scoff it up to Arizona not being able to close games and you shouldn't read into it, but I think you should. Bryce Young against a really good Arizona defense, was played really well down the stretch. I think it could continue into this week, but I'm going to trust Atlanta to get the win. The Falcons defense, Yes, against not the greatest Minnesota offense right now, looked phenomenal. I think, Robert Hunt's, I'm pretty sure out for the year, which is a huge blow for Carolina's offensive line. Atlanta's defensive line can get after Bryce, make him uncomfortable, and all Michael Penix and this offense has to do is just the right things like they did on Sunday Night Football. I think they get the win. Moving on to Texans at the Jags. Houston. This offensive line is horrible. It might be the worst in football. And CJ Stroud has, I mean, people are calling him overrated. I think people hyped him up after his rookie year, but I think we all kind of realized that Houston was so good because nobody was really expecting them to be that good. So they kind of overperformed. And I think these past 2 years, with how bad that offensive line really is, and now without Larry Tunsil and a ragtag group of guys, I think we're starting to realize, hey, CJ Stroud, Houston needs to get him protection. This Jacksonville defense, went after Bryce Young, and that was an offensive line with Robert Hunt. Oh, I really want to go Houston, but at the same time, it's like, can I really trust the Texans to? Can I really trust Houston to? Because that defense is going to be great, but can I trust Houston's offense to do anything that I really trust? Like Jacksonville last week, I'm trusting the Texans. I'm sorry to all those Jags fans. It's just after last week's game where it's like they should have dominated Cincinnati when Burrow went out. Like they should have crushed the Bengals. But Trevor Lawrence kept on throwing bad picks. Ryan Thomas Jr. Maybe has some confidence issues. I don't know. And it's just Jacksonville should have won that game and should be 2-0, but they just let it slip through their fingers. Moving on to the Packers at the Browns. We're going with Green Bay. I think Cleveland could keep this close because at home, but it's just how good Green Bay's defense really makes the factor. Like they have the better offense, and then their defense is just gonna pummel Joe Flacco, and Green Bay should get the easy victory and move on to 3-0. Moving on to the 4 o'clock slate. Saints at the Seahawks. New Orleans has looked really good. Against Arizona and San Fran. They look competitive, but I'm trusting Seattle's defense to get after Spencer Rattler, make him look uncomfortable. And we saw Sam Darnold and this offense look really good last week. I think it continues. I think they just played a really good, Robert Saleh led Niners defense. And I think I just think they played a really good defense in week 1. But now, not playing the greatest defenses the next couple of weeks. I think Seattle can get on a groove. Moving on, Denver at the Chargers. Denver's offense bounced back in week 2, but that defense against Daniel Jones just could not stop anything. This Chargers offense didn't look the greatest, but they played well. I think it comes down to who has the better offense, which the Chargers do. Both teams have great defenses, but I'm trusting Herbert, Harbaugh, and this LA team to get the win. Moving on to an NFC West clash, Cardinals at the Niners. Mac Jones once again will be at the helm. Arizona frustrates me so much because it's like the last 2 games, they had a double-digit lead. They could have ran the ball and just beat the team, but they couldn't. But I just trust Arizona. I know San Fran's 2-0, but they played a Seattle team, bringing in a lot of new pieces, and Seattle's offense also for some reason, like San Fran was giving Seattle opportunities, and they just couldn't capitalize, which is why it was such a close game. And San Fran was able to win that game, and then they played the Saints, which it was close there too. I think Arizona can make enough plays. I think their defense, stout group, can get after Mac Jones, make him uncomfortable, and I think the Cardinals on the road get the win. Dallas at Chicago. I mean, I feel like this could be like what the Cowboys played last week against the Giants because no Jalen Johnson, which means that he's out for the year, I'm pretty sure. So it's like CD, George Pickens, they're going to go off. And then Dallas's defense looked horrible last week. And I think this could be a shootout, but I'm going with Dallas to get the win. I really want to go with Chicago, but after the way they looked like they everything was going right for them against the Vikings, and then they blew it, and then they got blown out by Detroit. It's just, I think Chicago hopefully can make strides to be a good team throughout the year. I just don't believe early on they're going to be able to stop a lot of offenses, and that can cause problems. Moving on to Sunday Night Football, Chiefs at the Giants. I know everybody wants me to pick the Giants. Oh, the Chiefs are dead, but the Chiefs are gonna bounce back. You know, I know this. I know this rushing game has looked horrible, and the passing game isn't the greatest. But I mean, the Giants' defense just gave up 40 points, and Dallas has a really good offense. But I think Casey can exploit that defense that looked not the greatest. And I think Casey's defense that looked much better in week two should be able to get after Russ, make him uncomfortable, and I think the Chiefs can get the win. And then finally, Monday Night Football, Ravens, Lions, battle of the blowouts because both teams destroyed their divisional rivals last week. Um, I'm trusting the Ravens at home. I just think at home, this Ravens team plays well. And, I think if this defense can be if it can play just like 60-70% of what it did last week against a bad Browns defense, and this offense can play much better like it did in week one, I think Baltimore can get the win. But yeah, those are my picks. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope you guys subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for my recap of Thursday Night Football. But until then, hope you guys have a great day and bye.